How's everybody doing? My name is Augie with VIP Playlist. I'm here with my co-host.
It's Adam. What's going on, guys and gals?
Yeah. And we also have you want to introduce yourself and tell us what band you play with and what you do for the band?
Sure. My name's Homer. I play bass for Image Intent.
Sweet. So the first time we had Brandon and Alejandro on from Image
Hmm.
Intent, and I felt, it was supposed to be Homer, but Homer flaked on us at the last minute. So
Yeah, sorry, boys.
it's
I
all good,
wasn't feeling
man.
too good. At least this time it's just a cold. It's not
Yeah,
full
yeah,
blown
yeah.
sick.
You're good, man. No, I felt bad because we'd been in contact a lot, and I was like, you know what? They've got a new song coming out. Let's do another episode. It's fine.
We got a new song every 6 weeks, so
Yeah, that's what we heard. That's awesome, dude.
yeah,
That's really smart to do, especially for new
Yeah,
bands. That way, you can continue to release and release and release and grow. So
yeah,
there's
it's
a
working out.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bands who like release like an EP and then they don't release anything for like 2 years,
yeah.
and it
No,
really
Hmm.
hurts the listeners. You could grow more by smaller releases. Are all these going to be put into an EP later, or y'all just going to do singles for now?
So we've kind of talked about it. I think some guys are into thought that if we throw it all together into either an EP or do a full length with them, because we have 10 songs.
Hmm.
So really, technically, that's a full length. We can add maybe a couple variations in there. I think is really the thought. If we're gonna do that, we do maybe like a remix of Ryan Gosling or one of the other songs that does really well.
Yeah.
Maybe do a couple of those and package it. Otherwise, we'll probably just throw them all into a playlist on Spotify that people can just go listen to it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll
So
work,
we
man.
haven't quite decided how that's if we're gonna repackage everything later or not. But
I mean, maybe
yeah,
smart for like a merch idea, like CD or vinyl or something like that.
yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's a great idea actually. I know those are like to do vinyls are really pricey. But
Right.
I also know that there are like labels with distribution that will do just like a vinyl only contract where like they're just helping you
Yeah.
distribute vinyl. So
I know Bandcamp does it, but I think Bandcamp's really backed up. And I think the minimum's like 250 or something like that. So you
Probably.
have to really have fans in order to do some
Yeah,
Bandcamp vinyl.
yeah, for sure. Who knows, man? Like the way things are going, we've been growing really steady since we started releasing.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a possibility that in a year, when really, we're going to be pushing past a year by
I
the
mean,
time we're done with all of our
honestly,
releases, but there's a
y'all
good
have
chance.
like three songs and your monthly listener count is kind of fucking for y'all just now starting to release like consistent music because I know Solstice was an instrumental,
Hmm.
hmm
and that was released quite a while back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was before I was even in the picture. I think any of us were really in the picture except for Brendan
Yeah.
or
So I
Brenson.
mean, doing just like not counting Solstice, but doing just the two releases and to see your monthly listeners just grow with every release is fucking it's awesome, man. Because you hit
Yeah,
me up
it's
a
really
long
cool.
time ago. Like, I mean, we've been
Yeah,
chatting back and forth on Instagram for a while now. So I think it was like before Ryan Gosling dropped.
it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, we it's kind
Yeah,
of crazy. I was
It
looking
was
at the
because you hit
stats.
me up and I used Ryan Gosling to open an episode before it was even out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking back at the data and like we right before we released Ryan Gosling, our monthly listeners were like 40
Yeah.
or something like that. And it was probably like Brendan and his family and the rest of us that randomly would listen to Solstice. But like, yeah, with now like we broke 2,500 today and
Hmm.
it
Saw
just
that.
keeps growing. It's crazy, man.
That's
That's
dope,
wonderful.
dude. That's awesome, man. It's cool to just I don't know, just to see it, man. I really appreciate you hitting me up too. Like you let it be a note to any band out there that just wants to come on and chat, dude. Literally just send us a message, man. Like
Yeah,
or
we
super
will
easy to
not.
talk
We
to,
will not say no.
No, absolutely not. Homer hit us up and we've literally been chatting back and forth on Instagram for a couple months now. So we're
Yeah,
easy to talk to, chill, and I mean, I enjoy seeing the progress for sure, man. It's
exactly.
dope.
Try to have one
Well,
song on Spotify though,
Yeah,
because it makes it
yeah,
hard.
exactly.
it helps with your whole concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Speaking of the concept, we are going to make a Spotify playlist with you today. Is there anything you want to name it?
Yeah, let's do Imperial Red.
Hey,
Okay.
there we go. Is that a Star Wars
Yeah,
reference?
no,
Oh, okay.
but I kind of now that you say that, I'm like, huh, interesting.
I
That's a
know
good
jack
point.
shit about Star Wars.
No, this is a reference to the beer that I'm drinking. It's my favorite beer. I decided I was going to spoil myself today with it. It's
Hell yeah.
Red Rock is the brewery, and it's just really good. It's an Imperial Red Ale. So
Okay. I
Oh
have
there
to
it
check
yeah.
is.
that out.
That's what I got going tonight.
Yeah. Adam drinks those chocolate milk beers. I don't know how he does that.
No way.
He means
Yeah.
stouts. I drink stouts.
Yeah.
I drink whatever, dude. I really don't care.
Yeah. I don't know,
I'll
man.
do stouts if I'm like full blown planning on skipping like a meal or two. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do stouts.
Those are some heavy ass beers,
Oh,
dude, on the
I'll
stomach.
be good to
Jesus
go.
Christ.
I'll sink them with pizza. I don't care.
Adam got a stomach of steel, man.
I do.
Dude, I'll never forget the first time I had beer with pizza. Like it was like my mind was blown.
No
That's
shit.
so good. But
Dude,
you
so
explode.
I can still talk like I can still like remember it vividly. Like we had just played a show. I was 19 and we used to sneak me into like I've been playing for a long time and a lot of times the
Hmm.
bands I played with everybody was older. And I was 19. We snuck me into this bar to play the show. After the show, it was a pizza bar. So after the show, we're just hanging out, and I'm just sitting at the bar, and I had a PBR and pizza,
Oh
and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh
Nice.
my gosh, this is so good!" And our guitarist Matt looks over at me. He's like, "Have you never had beer and pizza?" I'm like, "No, like I have beer because I'm partying. I was 19,
Right.
stupid, right?"
Yeah.
But like I never tied the two together. And then from
Oh,
then on, I was like, how can you have pizza without beer?
match made in heaven.
Yeah, 100%.
All carbs.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh man. We had that bomb ass pizza on Adam's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
God, it was just like cheese. But that shit was so fucking good, just cheese. It
Yeah.
may have been because we were like really fucked up, but even still,
We went
like,
out for my birthday and like I don't think we had a proper dinner, so we got like pizza at like 2 a.m. and they gave it to us like right popping hot out of the oven. And we just were so hungry, we all bit into it. And I burned the roof of my mouth the roof of my mouth the next day was like peeling. I burned it so
Oh,
bad.
shit.
I
yeah,
didn't care though.
yeah, that shit was good.
Yeah.
But so let's kick this off, man. Let's talk about some of the bands you used to listen to, maybe your parents introduced you to, maybe like grandparents, whoever, just some of that first music, man. Let's get into
Yeah,
that.
core memories.
Yeah.
All right, core memories. So we'll have to go back to Brazil. So my dad was always really kind of big into, I guess you'd just say rock. So like when you live internationally, the stuff that you hear is the stuff that went massive, right?
Hmm.
So like we used to have MTV playing while we'd be getting ready to go places, and the very first song that like really made an impact that people would know here would be Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Oh yeah.
which, fun fact,
Nice.
Brendan gives me shit all the time because that was my warm up song. That still is my warm up song.
What's wrong with that?
He just gives me shit just because he
No,
can.
he's a
So
hater.
now I warm up to Muse Hysteria. That's my new warm up song. I changed it up so that he stopped giving me crap about
Oh,
it.
that's fair. That's fair.
He's like, "This is the no Red Hot Chili Peppers zone." I'm like, "Why, dude? Is it because the
Oh yeah.
bassist was sick?"
Yeah,
One of our
Right.
bassists, Lee, one of the greatest bassists ever.
Dude
indeed.
was nuts, man. It still is, I assume. I haven't really listened to it. I don't even know if they've released any new music. I haven't really
I don't
kept up
think.
into them with them for a long time. So no,
Yeah, I
they
don't.
did in 2022. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't listened to a lot of their newer stuff. I'm still a fan of the old stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think maybe it's a little nostalgia with it, but I think that the old stuff was just more. I don't know, man. It's almost like talking about Blink 182 now, right? Like you listen to
Yeah.
Blink 182 now, and I think we all just remember the like 20-year-old Blink, like
Yeah.
the guys
Hmm.
that were like, they had just like dropped out of high school and were making music and they didn't care. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think we relate back. So now when we listen to Blink 182, it's almost like, I know it's kind of hard to listen to them a little bit. I still love them. They still have a great place in my heart, but it's just not the same anymore, which it's fine. Everybody grows up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. 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 For sure. Bro, I just want to mention this real quick. These motherfuckers, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, released 2 albums last year. Not just 2 albums. Each album had 17 fucking songs on them.
Oh my God.
That's insane, dude.
they're
That's
so good,
awesome.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, but Blink 182 for sure, man. I haven't listened to them in a long time either. I know Tom's back, which everybody was happy about, but even still, I don't
Hmm.
know, man. I just the albums that I like. And
Well, it's different, man. It's
yeah,
like you go listen to Enema of the State, and then even like you listen to that, and then you go listen to well, what's the other album where they had that? Let's
the
see,
guy
let me
from
pull it up.
Alkaline Trio, Matt Skiba.
Right before Matt Skiba came around. Oh, well, it was a little bit before that. Where like I Miss You was on there.
Oh, that was a good
What's
album. I like
the
that one.
just Blink 182? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just the name of it. Yeah, so like that was a good album, but like you compare that to like Enema of the State, and you're just like, this is a whole different album.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And then
The
everything else coming after it, you're still like, what is this?
yeah, I had the greatest hits. I think I have that on vinyl too.
Yeah, I have
The
that
greatest hits
too.
were really good. Yeah. I had a lot of good songs on the greatest hits, but
Hmm.
yeah, do you have a favorite Blink song? We'll throw one of those on there, man.
Ooh, I have a lot of them. Here's the one we're gonna do. We're gonna do Aliens Exist.
Nice. Fucking
That's because I'm a
Tom,
believer,
dude.
buddy. I'm a
Tom,
believer.
man.
I
I
could
mean, it's
pick
not
a bunch of different
implausible.
ones, but
It's not
Yeah, I
I'm a
mean,
impossible.
believer.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
No judgment here.
No, no.
There's
So,
people that believe in things that are far more far-fetched.
oh yeah. So
Right?
are you originally from Brazil?
Yeah, so I was born in São Paulo, Brazil,
Nice.
and we lived there till I was 10. And then we ended up moving up here when we moved to Reno, Nevada, of all places to move to. That's where we
Nice.
ended up.
That's cool, man. Fucking we talked to this one pop punk band, and they were from Reno, and for some reason I think it's because of Reno 911 on Comedy Central, but I
Mhm.
always thought that Reno and Las Vegas were like like right there next to each other, and they were like, nah, man, that's like 8 hours away. I was like, are you fucking
Yeah,
kidding me?
and it's a shitty ass drive.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, dude, I had
I
no
think
idea.
I think that's when I learned that Nevada was like the fourth
It's
biggest
fourth
state or
biggest state or
something
something like
random,
that.
right?
Yeah,
It's up there.
and
because it's
it,
Alaska, Texas, and then
Cali.
Cali,
Yeah.
and then I think Nevada, right?
yeah, it's one of the things I miss about living in Nevada is the amount of public land there was.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, man.
Like we just like even here in Utah, you would think there'd be the case, but when I moved out here, I started driving around the desert and there's fences everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to go mess around.
Yeah, it's sad because living in East Texas, there's a lot of like trees and like there used to be a lot of like privately owned land here, but
Hmm.
uh, not so much anymore. And like everybody is selling it to commercial for like
Yeah.
a lot of fucking money, and then they're turning around and building like subdivisions on it. So
Yep.
like my wife, her parents own like 230 acres, and then they sold it, but they didn't sell it to a subdivision. They sold it to an actual dude. So that 230 acres is actually still out there. I'd love to
That's
buy that shit back, to be
so
honest with
much
you.
land. Holy hell.
Yeah, I'd love
It'd
to
be a
buy that
lot of
back.
money.
Yeah. I think they ended up selling, they sold for quite a bit, but it also had 5 houses on it as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh,
But
even so.
yeah, they were like small rent houses. They weren't like massive houses or anything like that. They were just like, it was like a little, the houses probably didn't take up 2 acres of land. The rest of that land was just
Right.
open
Yeah.
field, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was dope. I loved it. But
That's
yeah, it
cool,
sucks,
man.
man. It sucks that all the land around here is getting so, and like used to, you could buy land around here for like $5,000 an acre. Now somebody was selling like not even half an acre. It was like 0.31 acres for 40,000 fucking dollars. And I was like, you're out
Let's
of your
go.
goddamn
Wow.
mind, dude. I'm like, that's insane.
That's the way it goes, man. Land, just like there's only so much of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
People been buying it
And
way before we were around, so
Yeah,
not much of it
it's
left.
the commercial shit that's driving up the prices though. These people are buying it up and then putting little subdivisions on it. So like for an acre of land, you could probably put 3 or 4 fucking houses on it, you know? And
Right.
they're all going to
more
be
than
the
that.
cookie. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all going to be like the little cookie cutter houses. Just they're all going to look the exact same, but people are going to buy that shit up. You know,
Yep.
$300,000 a fucking house. So it's fucking ridiculous.
Dang. Augie's
Crazy,
on a
man.
soapbox, dude.
I
Yeah.
know. I just hate it, man, because the land out here it used to be really pretty, you know,
It did. Yeah.
trees everywhere and shit like that. But anyways,
Yeah. So coming over from Brazil at 10, that was especially to Nevada. I mean, really anywhere here, but that must have been like a huge culture shock. And actually, like in the reverse way, because I don't feel like we're as lively.
It's still a culture shock. Like,
yeah,
and I wouldn't say so much like about being lively or anything. It's just like you have a perception, you know, especially as a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like you imagine something. And I remember when we came here, like all I knew of America was Disneyland. You know, like,
Yeah.
and
fucking
then
Mickey
whatever you
Mouse.
saw in movies, you know,
Yeah.
like my dad and I, we talk about how like when we used to watch like Westerners, we'd see like dudes in a jacket and stuff riding
Hmm.
around on a horse. And we're like, why are they wearing a jacket in the desert? And then we move out to Nevada. And we're like, oh, we get it. Yeah, we need a jacket.
Yeah.
You know, like we understood, but I don't know. You kind of have like a certain image of things, and it's funny, man. Like it was a heck of an experience. Um, we came over, and one of my early memories is we get signed up for school. So the reason we went to Reno was my dad had work in Reno.
Okay.
And so that's what took us there, you know, took the
Sure.
rest of the family there. So we sold everything we had in Sao Paulo and moved to Reno. And when we get signed up for school, it's actually a really funny story. They have us take a test at the ESL class, you know, the English second language. So my sister and I go sit down, and in Brazil in fourth grade, like you're moving quite along in school. Like we were doing algebra in
Oh, wow.
fourth grade. But then like your last 2 years of like high school, really all you're doing is prepping for your college placement test. So it's a little different, the structure,
Right.
but like you're doing some pretty intense stuff. But anyways, I sit down next to this Korean kid, and he's speaking perfect English with the teacher. And my sister's sitting next to me on the other side, and they give us all this test to do. And I look at the test, and there's pictures and then like sentences describing the picture.
Hmm.
And I look at my test, and then I kind of like glance over side eye at the kid's test, and it's the same test. And I look at my sister's, and it's the same test. And I was like, really? Are they that stupid to put like the same test? But elementary school here in the US is different than in Brazil, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
so I cheated on my test, dude, because I was like, yeah, I want to get a really good score. Well, it turns out that because I cheated on my test, I got put straight into school, and my sister went to a different school to learn how to speak English before coming to like actual elementary school. So it like totally backfired on me, you know, like I thought it was being
Yeah.
cool and like got a good score and they're like, here you go,
Yeah,
right
you're
into
off to
class.
regular school and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, no.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap. Like I sat down and I was just like smiling. And then people would talk to me and I just would look at them like, I have no idea what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Oh shit, that's
Um,
crazy, man. What was like the scenery change? Because I just looked up, I just Google image like, what is it, Sao Paulo?
Sao Paulo, yeah.
Yeah, I just Google images of that, and it says the population, dude. Just the population alone is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like 25
12,
million.
it's like, yeah, 12 million in 2020.
Oh,
And the
yeah,
population
that's
of Reno,
just into
Nevada.
town.
Yeah, dude, the
yeah.
population of Reno, Nevada is 268,000. So like,
Oh, dude, it was such a change. Like we went from being in the fourth biggest city in the world because they count like Sao Paulo Metro. So like
got you. Okay, so it's like
when
Dallas metropolitan area. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Dallas is very similar to it, where there's like Fort Worth, everybody's like like it's all tied
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
together. Yeah, that's kind of how Sao Paulo is. Like you have Sao Paulo, but then with all the boroughs around it, it's a lot bigger. So that's when
Hmm.
it's like 22, 25 million. I can't
Yeah.
remember anymore, but it's a
Wow.
lot.
That's
Too
insane,
many
I,
man.
people.
Yeah.
I'll ask one more and then I'll get to some music. Have you been back like since?
I haven't, not yet. We've always wanted to. It's just expensive to try and get back there,
Yeah,
you know. And
yeah.
I don't know. One of these days I will. I still talk with my family there in Brazil. They're all fans of the band, which is
Oh,
cool.
great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
I hope you get to,
they,
man, for sure.
they stream our music in Brazil. When I see the Brazil counts, I'm like, that's my cousin.
Nice. That's
Just
awesome.
showing everybody. That's great.
Yeah.
So you got here when you were 10, like we got your backstory on, getting here, but how'd you get into the bass specifically?
Oh man, so that's a little bit of a journey there. So when we lived in Brazil, I started on the violin. So I played the violin when I was 8.
That's dope.
And then when we came here, our elementary school, we had a little orchestra program in 6th grade, and I played the violin there. And then in middle school, I started hopping around on the instruments. So in 7th grade, I switched over to the bass because I got tired of how whiny the violin was.
Mhm.
And when I switched over to the bass, one of my buddies got a bass guitar. And so then I was obviously kind of interested into it because I was like, oh, this is the same thing, just sideways. And you still pluck, you know, but like you could do different things with it. And like I've always been into, you know, rock music. And so that was definitely something I was interested in. And that was about the time that a music shop opened up by my house. It was called Rock City Music.
Mhm.
And my buddy and I, we would walk over there and he would just let you play, you know, whatever instruments. And I'll grab the bass because that's what I knew how to play. And I'd started messing with it. So 12 is about when I picked up the bass guitar and started messing around with it.
Okay. And who are some of your favorite bassists?
My favorite bassist is Chris from Anti Flag.
Okay.
Nice.
Very cool. We don't get that a lot. Let's get an
No, no. Yeah,
anti-flag
let's get an
song.
anti-flag.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's my other warm up song. It's Press Corps by Anti Flag.
Nice.
And what's impressive about it, have you guys seen Anti Flag live?
No, I haven't.
Okay, when you get a chance, do. If you can get by the stage somehow, that'd be cool. You'll probably appreciate it even more. But Chris, he also sings, dude. So like the press corps, he's singing in that thing. And that is one of the hardest bass lines I've ever learned to play.
Okay.
Like that thing is you're walking the entire time and he's singing along with it. And I play it with a pick because it's a little easier to play with a pick, but
Hmm.
he's finger plucking it. So he's got like this craziness going on his left hand, and then his right hand is just all over the place too. And then he sings on top of it. I like the amount of talent you got to have is just
Right.
insane to do
Yeah.
that. Like, and I think he's another underrated bassist. I don't think enough people appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure, man. So it seems like you kind of have like a punk rock
Yeah.
background,
One hundred
like the
percent. Yeah,
old Blink-182 and then Anti-Flag. And what are some other punk rock bands that you enjoy?
dude. We can be all over the place with that. Like we can go into like the pop punk stuff, like No Effects. Well, I guess they're a little bit more pop punk.
Yeah, a little more. I
Uh,
mean, I think I don't know. They
yeah,
kind of ride the line very well of
yeah, they do.
being
They do
being
like real good.
punk, and then pop punk. Like their singles, I would say, are definitely pop punk. But I don't know, man.
Yeah,
They're very punk rock.
yeah, they are. Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. Like it's
Yeah,
like they knew what they were doing. Like they structured it to where their singles would definitely grab a bigger audience, but I think most people that listen to them are very much a punk
yeah, for
crowd.
sure. So no
Um,
effects.
Newfound Glory was another big one that I really like. And they're more pop punk, obviously. Um, and then kind of going back in the day, like the Misfits, Seven
Misfits.
Seconds, Black Flag. Yeah, like we
All
we
right.
can we
Let's
can
get
dance
some of these
around
on
that
here,
all
man.
day.
Let's go with no effects.
No Effects. Okay, let's pick a good No Effects song. No Effects cracks me up, dude.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they've done, like nowadays, would not be appropriate. Like, I don't think it would be accepted very well.
Yeah. Oh, Fat Mike is absolutely insane, man. I remember, so like, I remember growing up, I used to listen to Under Oath a lot because we went to church a lot. And I
Makes
remember
sense.
watching them on the Warp Tour. There's like Warp Tour backstage or whatever. Under Oath was trying to have a Bible study. And Fat Mike basically like walked in on the Bible study and started like yelling and cursing and shit.
Did you guys
That's
ever
awesome.
watch that? There's like a whole Warp Tour show on Fuse. Do you guys remember
Yeah,
that?
that's the show I was watching when the
That's
Under
the
Oath was trying
one.
to have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
we
then
must be
also
thinking of the same thing.
NoFX played every single. So they did the. I think Warp Tour did this shit on purpose. But every time Under Oath and NoFX was on Warp Tour, NoFX played on the same stage as Under Oath right before Under Oath went on. So every single time, Fat Mike would say some really fucked up shit about Under Oath before they came on. I think the one that got him in the most trouble was it was a known thing at the time that Spencer Chamberlain was struggling with drug abuse, and Fat Mike said something about the next step was Under Oath, a Christian band whose singer was or whose one of their vocalists was in my van last night snorting cocaine.
uh,
Yeah,
what
that
a
would be Fat Mike for sure.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
a
He used to fuck
troll,
with them
dude.
so fucking hard. I'm pretty sure he was the reason they dropped out of one of the world tours. They used to fuck with him so bad.
Well, it's funny, dude, because like here's the thing, right? Like you're in this pretty much post-hardcore, hardcore Christian rock band. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah,
none of it fits together, but we all know multiple Christian rock bands that are hardcore, you know?
Hmm.
So like for him to just give him shit, like how's that like that's you should expect it. Plus, like look at the dude's music. Like he's gonna give you shit. He's gonna
Yeah.
give anybody shit. If you give him an inch, he's gonna take a mile of it. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like you can't
Hmm.
expect anything else from the guy.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got a song for us. Let's do Separation of Church and Skate. That's a good
Oh, there you
one.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Newfound Glory.
Oh, my friend's over you. I can
Yeah.
go over a gazillion of them, but the reason I say that one is my very first memory of hearing them play. It was Warp Tour, actually, speaking of Warp Tour. And my buddy and I, we were walking to see someone else play, and it totally slipped our mind because you remember what those Warp Tour calendars were like,
Yeah.
and this was like before smartphones, and
Hmm.
there's no way for you to really keep track. You just try and remember things. And we're walking by, and all I hear is just that opening line of My Friends Over You. And we just stopped and stared at each other and like ran straight into the pit. Like that's like where we went. Like, and oh, it was so great. So yeah, that's why I say that one's just because the memory. Not only is it a great song, but the memory I have with it is, yeah, it's something that I'll live with for a long time.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that was also the Warp Tour. Yeah, that was a Warp Tour where I asked Haley Williams for a number.
You asked her for her number
Yeah, it was.
and she heard
Yeah.
you?
Oh yeah, dude. She was at a poster signing.
How did that work out?
Oh, I'm so stupid, dude. So I was 17 years old. We don't have a brain at 17. We know this. Um,
Yeah.
so I obviously had a fat crush on her, and I was like, whatever, They're doing poster signings, so I walk up to it, and my buddy's like, dude, you should ask her for her number. I'm like, okay.
They hyped you up.
So yeah, so now here we are, get in front of her, and I'm like, hey, can I get your number? And she was like, I don't have a cell phone on tour, but I'll give you my grandma's number. And I was
Got
like,
him.
I don't want that. And then I just walked away, forgot my poster and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my memory of that.
That's
That
Well,
was the same Warped
sure,
Tour, man.
funny.
surely
Oh
she's a
yeah,
listener, so maybe, you guys can reconcile.
right.
I am sure that this will get back to her.
Yeah.
We got Misfits up next.
All right, let's do Dig Up Her Bones.
You said 7 seconds?
Yeah, man. Have you never listened to 7 Seconds?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
That's a Reno band.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I actually, they're one of their sons. I can't remember which one, but he also plays bass. We went to high school together. We would bring our basses to school and just sit there in the hallway at lunch sometimes and just jam. It was cool.
Nice. You got a song from them?
Yeah, let's see here. We're gonna fight.
Black Flag.
Let's do Six Pack. This
All
is gonna
right.
be kind of an all over the place
Yeah, man.
playlist.
Listen up, all you VIP peers.
VI players.
Goddamn Patreon now.
Getting so aggressive.
I did.
We have a Patreon now,
Yeah, motherfuckers.
and a Discord,
Yeah,
and a YouTube,
Discord. Come
but
join
no webcams yet.
it. No webcams. You can't see our beautiful face.
Not yet.
Yeah. Shout out to Enormous Adam on Discord. Hit him up if you need a Discord. He did a great job on ours. It looks cool. But guess what? You won't know how it looks unless you join that bitch. If you would, please join our Discord and our Patreon. It would be really cool of you. We would love you forever. We still love you forever, even if you don't.
Yeah.
But-
you join the Patreon, you're gonna get stickers. You get
Stickers.
to dehumanize me.
Yes.
You wanna know what that means?
Go look
to
at the
the
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's
And
it.
just subscribe to our fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah. Comment.
Thank you.
Review. Subscribe. We
Yeah,
love you
all
more.
that stuff. Do everything that you do for all the people that you love on YouTube. Do it for us too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We love you.
The kind of music y'all play isn't necessarily pop punk. So the first two, it's more on the first two songs are a little more on the lighter side of post hardcore. The one that's coming out is definitely a lot heavier. But let's talk about those first two for a moment. When did you start getting into like post hardcore, heavier bands, stuff like that? Away from, I mean, I know you're still in a punk rock, but when did you start getting progressively heavier?
Well, I've always liked it. The reason I've had a passion for punk is because a lot of punk is very bass driven,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Like you can't listen to a punk song and not hear the bass. That's
Mhm.
not going to happen. Like it's a bass driven genre. So that's part of why I really like punk is because you get a lot of really great bassists in there that people don't talk about. And I'm a bassist. So
Yeah.
it kind of fits. But I've always liked the post-hardcore and hardcore genres. When I started kind of coming out of middle school into high school, hardcore was really kind of blowing up in Reno.
Mhm.
And so everybody was doing it. It was kind of like, this is what all the kids are doing. And so I got really into it. And with it, obviously post-hardcore. But Yeah, it was about when I started getting into high school is when I really got into it. I was still playing in punk bands. I played in hardcore bands during that time. I played in some pop punk bands. Obviously, pop punk always has a kind of a wider reach. It's not such a niche
Yeah.
Hmm.
kind of audience, but like I still go to hardcore shows and post hardcore shows just because I want to hardcore dance. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So like I'll be out there I'll two step on stage.
yeah.
Like I
Nice.
don't give a shit. Like yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that's how I started getting into it.
There are whenever I'm able to hear like the bass in post hardcores, like I immediately love it. It's
Hmm.
dope. It's me and
Yep.
Adam are the same way. I'll send Adam a song. I'm like, bro, you hear that fucking bass?
Yeah. Yeah. We're like totally nerds over
That's
it.
one reason that I really like progressive metal and stuff like that. So like aviations and like I would assume like periphery and things like that is because the bassist is always so fucking good. Like that bass is loud as shit, and you just hear him just beating the shit out of it.
That's dude, that's like exactly like what kind of we were talking about right before. Like you can have a bass and just follow along
hmm
with
Hmm.
the root notes and no one will complain about it. But you get a bassist that loves his instrument and does his thing, like it stands out and people
Yeah,
and you may not even realize it, but it's happening.
yeah, for sure, man. And that's like I think it's the reason why I really fell in love with like new metal as well. So like Corn, Philly had like I don't know how to describe it because I'm not like a musician at all in any sense of the fashion, but it always sounded like Fieldy's bass had the loosest fucking strings I've ever heard. Like it just sounded like his strings were just like flopping, bro. Just you could hear
Yeah.
it like grinding.
Yeah.
He turned up that treble is what it
Right?
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that treble cranked up so that you can really hear that string just da 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 da
Yeah,
da.
yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
love that fucking shit, dude.
Hmm.
Like, oh God, I always love Fieldy's bass, man. Cause like I said, it just sounded like his strings were so loose, but I know that's not the case, but that's just what it sounded like to me.
What's funny is I usually on my bass when I set up my tones, I usually turn the treble up because I really like that poppy
Yeah.
bass
Hmm.
sound. But with this project, it just would not fit. You know what I mean? Like if I was to do
Yeah.
that, like having that poppy bass behind what we got going on just wouldn't work. So I pretty much have the bass cranked up and turned down the treble and turned up the mids a little bit to get like a good round sound. And but yeah, usually I'm like very much like I want people to hear this bass just snapping every time I hit the string, you know.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Let's get a couple of your favorite post-hardcore and hardcore bands, man.
Hmm.
Okay, well we can't get into it without talking about Silverstein. Obviously
Yeah.
wearing their hoodie.
Yeah. I see
I've
that.
been listening to them for a very long time. So let's see. There are so many good songs from Silverstein. I hate those guys. They're too good. I can't even tell you like a favorite song from them.
Yeah, they're really good, dude. I love Silverstein.
Hmm.
Damn it, what's his name? Lead singer syndrome with
Shane Told.
Shane Told. Yeah, Shane
Shane,
Told.
yeah.
I love Shane, dude.
We've had a couple people say that Just Face It reminded them of Silverstein a little bit, which makes me happy. I don't hear it, but
Yeah,
whatever. It's whatever people hear. Okay, let's do Massachusetts from Silverstein. Like, it's such a great story that they tell in that song. You know what I mean? Have you guys heard that song?
I have, and it's been a minute since I've listened to that album. It's
Yeah.
been a
It's
really long
like
time. Yeah,
that one, the song's kind of talking almost about like being in a like domestic abuse situation and
yeah,
just wanting to get out of it. And this chick or character in the song just finally decides like I'm done, like I'm moving out, and
yeah.
off they go back to California.
Nice. That's awesome. I like a good storytelling in a song.
Hmm.
Any more post-hardcore, hardcore bands?
Let's do Hawthorne Heights.
All
I
right.
feel like that's kind of a route for me, and Ohio's for Lovers. I think that was kind of a big song for a lot of people back in what was it, 2014,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
2004.
My
Uh,
favorite song, and it's like the cringiest song ever now, but it's Nikki FM. Fucking love that song.
dude, I love Nikki FM.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man. Let's see. Yeah, Silverstein, Hawthorne Heights, Under Oath. Yeah, we got to do some Under Oath. I don't know if you'd
Yeah.
consider them post hardcore, but
Yeah, they're in the post art, especially that first album. Not the
since
first one, sorry. They're only chasing safety.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that
If
one's
we're
definitely
gonna
post hardcore.
we're gonna go through my whole musical journey, let's do Reinventing Your Exit. I used to scream along to that song on
I did too.
Use
Yeah.
or whatever. That was
Yeah.
before my voice was destroyed.
But
This is
Boy
what
Brush
happens
Red,
when
that was my shit, dude.
oh, that one's another freaking great one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like those two songs, like are I think what that and then Riding on the Walls. Let's
Man,
throw
that
that one in
album,
there
yeah.
too. Let's just do two Under Oath songs. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Oh yeah, dude. You can put
Of
however many
course.
you want on any, yeah. Yeah, that
Riding on the
album
Walls is such a good one.
and that whole album took like a really dark turn because They're Only Chasing Safety had a lot more like pop elements in it. Define the Great Line had like zero pop elements, and it was like everything was just really dark about that album and a lot heavier than They're Only Chasing Safety.
Hmm.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, so we've so here's my thing with our music, and I almost feel like I can kind of understand a little bit of that. So, like, we released Ryan Gosling first. One, we thought it was a good song, but it's also the poppiest song that we have.
Yeah.
So it's going to grab the most people, right? And then we just released Just Face It, and it's significantly harder. I don't feel it's not our hardest song, but
Yeah.
it's definitely harder, and it's definitely reaching more into that metalcore scene than Just Face It or Ryan Gosling did.
Yeah.
And now we're about to release Living Insanity, and that is way harder.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you can say that's very much a post-hardcore song.
So
No.
I think
For sure.
I think what Under Oath did really well is basically portray what they were going through in the moments. So like They're Only Chasing Safety was basically about like girls, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
So I think it was in A Boy Brush Red. He says, "I always knew you were such a sucker for that." And the actual lyrics that they first wrote were such a sucker for that whore, but they decided to take whore out at the last minute. So
Interesting.
yeah, so now it just says such a sucker for that, and they leave it blank, right? So that song was about, and it was also like very churchy, I guess, because they also have like
Mhm.
that like interlude where they're like, Jesus, I'm ready to come home, all that shit. But Writing on the Walls was where like that was basically describing like Spencer's drug abuse. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of like talk about like filling up the lungs and all that shit, and like basically just a lot of like drug reference in Writing on the Walls, and I think that's why that album's so dark as well, is because it's a really dark time in Spencer's life. So yeah, I think it just like reflected the band as well, and they did a really good job at that. And I think with basically the way. From what I know about y'all's new song coming out, with it being heavier and a little more emotion felt, as far as like lyrically, from what you told me,
Hmm.
I feel like it really reflects in the song as well. So
Yeah, it's hard to like. Here's the thing: like the thing about music is it's very much an expression of yourself.
yeah,
Like I have so many songs that I've written that I never would let anyone ever read those lyrics
yeah,
because it's
Right.
too. I'm not that vulnerable of a person. Maybe I should be more okay with that, but like even with this one with Living Insanity, like
and now do you write the lyrics normally or
so not necessarily. So the way that one came about, so Omar, our singer, he's really, really, he's a great songwriter. Actually, I think he is.
Hmm.
People might have their opinions. We're newer, but I think he's really a great songwriter. So the way that came about is, so I was driving up to work. I have about a 45-minute commute. I like to live away from people. So,
I feel
so
you.
I've got a commute. So I'm driving up to work, and one of so I was a firefighter, and then I obviously I had to retire because of medical. And my very first fatal accident, I drive past that same spot every single day I go to work.
Mm.
And the day that I started coming up with the idea for the song, I'd been just kind of listening through her demos just to try and help out with some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
And that song originally the demo was called Mothongo. And
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah, buddy.
it's funny. That's what they named their playlist. Brandon and
Oh, is that really?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so originally the song was called Mofongo, just the instrumentals, the working title. And then anyway, so I'm driving through, and I remember right that night, like I've been having a lot of dreams back into like somewhat like firefighter call related kind of dreams. And so I woke up kind of in already kind of a crappy mood just because I'd been dreaming about, you know, calls, which usually were not very happy moments in people's lives, you know.
Yeah.
That's not what you deal with as a firefighter. It's not happy moments. Very rarely you do. And so I'd already kind of woke up in that kind of day, and then I was driving up to work and was driving past that spot, and I still remember that call. I remember when it came across. I think that's also why, like, when I hear helicopters, it kind of messes with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Is as we were pulling up into the scene, we can hear the life flight helicopter come flying over the top of our ambulance.
Damn.
Mm.
But anyway, so all those things are kind of going through my mind, and let's see if I can pull up the original, what I had written for Omar. So I started putting down some ideas, and my thing is a lot of what I write, so like being in a lot of hardcore and punk bands, the lyrics that I write are usually, like hardcore lyrics. So let me see if I can pull up what I'd sent to him. So originally what I sent to him was, it says, I feel it crawling, I feel it under my skin, I feel it building, I don't want to give in, but I know one day I'll fall. I just don't want to lose it all. It was a pleasure, the greatest days of my life. I had a family, a bond that's for life, but I just didn't know how much it would take a toll. So I sent that over to Omar, and then I also told him kind of like what was in my mind at the time, so I was just telling him about the call and what it feels like to like deal with living with PTSD. Like you don't go away from it.
Yeah.
Like if you've experienced anything traumatic in your life, it's there forever. You're never getting away from it. You just got to learn how to deal with it. And so I kind of told him what was on my mind, what it felt like, how I feel pretty much on my day to day, and kind of gave that all to him. And he's like, dude, I got this. I totally got this. And I wanted to be there when he recorded the vocals, but he couldn't get to the studio the same time that we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Branson and I was there. I just want to emphasize the Branson, not Brendan. And so he wrote the song without me really knowing what it was going to turn out like. And then when he sent it to me, it was just like a little bit overwhelming because I was like, holy shit, dude, how did you get everything that I feel every single day?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how that song came about. And that's one thing, that's a talent that Omar has that I don't know if he really realizes it. Like we can give him like something small and he can make a whole song out of it.
Yeah.
He can really take that concept and grow. And he was saying that like as he was writing the song, he would go back to our text messages and read through it to try and really like capture how I felt about things. And that's kind of how he worked through writing the lyrics for it.
That's really cool, man. That's awesome,
That's
dude. I
awesome.
mean,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like to be in your shoes. So more power to you, man, with everything that you've experienced, I'm sure.
Mm.
But I mean, you're here and you're making music, so that's awesome.
Well, that's what made me get back into music. So, like, I was very passionate about my job. It was kind of taken away from me unexpectedly. I guess that's one way to look at it. I'm still working through that, but
Yeah.
one day I told my wife, like, hey, I need to find something that I'm passionate about to put my energy into because I don't have anything. And I was like, hey, maybe I'll just pick up the bass again and I'll just find like a party band or like a bar band to go play for, just do some
Yeah.
little local things here and
Yeah.
there. And I'd auditioned for another band at the same time that I started talking with Brandon. And that was cool. That was a pop punk band. From the stuff that they had sent me, I went and I wrote a couple different bass lines that I actually really liked. They were a lot of fun, just a lot of walking and just what you'd expect in a good pop punk band. But then I go and I meet with Brandon and I listened to Solstice. I'd already listened to it and kind of learned the bass line before I showed up to the audition. And he shows me some of the other stuff and we get talking. And I swore I would never get myself back here again. So the last band I played in, I was 19 years old. And now here I am at that time, I think I was 31 and meeting with Brandon. And I was just like looking at him and talking to him. And I was just like, holy shit, like this he's got it right. Like he wants to do this right. And I was just like, fuck, like this might go somewhere. Like this is legit. Like, do I want to do this? And I was just like, all right, let's just go. I just sent it. You know what I mean? It was just one of
Yeah.
those like just send it situations.
Just felt right, huh?
And yeah, man. And it's like the hardest thing for you to find with musicians is the vision and the drive. Like musicians, a lot of times, and this is why I feel like bands, like it's not a lot of bands that really make it, is we are very fleeting. Like we're all ADD. We
Yeah.
get into
Yeah.
something and it gets going and we're excited about it and then things get kind of tough or whatever and then we're just like whatever, we move on. And that's where bands either fall apart or people leave the band or like you have different like commitments
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah. Commitment
where
levels.
exactly. But once like I met with Brandon, I was just like, this dude's legit. Like he's got the right mind for this, which is a hard thing to find. And like I didn't understand, like I think I had a concept of it at 19 because our band, we were doing really good. But the reason it all fell apart is because we had one guy that wasn't all for it. Like
Hmm.
we had everything set up, everything like ready to go for us to just take off.
Damn.
And one guy just, his drive wasn't there. And
Yeah.
so when I met with Brendan and I saw like, not only does he have the drive, but the understanding, I was like, okay, fine, I'll give this a shot. I'm an old man for music's sake, but we got some good going here, So
Yeah.
that's why I took the gamble with it.
I mean, it seems to be paying off. Y'all have 10 fucking songs to release, and they're all significantly better than the last. I mean, the first Ryan Gosling was really good, you know.
Hmm.
My question is, are y'all gonna put vocals over Solstice? Are y'all just gonna leave it alone?
So Brendan's always wanted that. Um, when he was auditioning vocalists, he had people try and throw vocals over it. And we just, Brendan swears he never got it before, but Omar, our vocalist now, just sent over what he had put together for it. And we might actually be taking, like, I'm not sure if this is happening, but potentially by the time this comes around, we may be pulling Solstice off of Spotify when we release Living Insanity, and then potentially have Omar record his vocals on it. Because
Nice.
like when he sent that over to us, it was just a demo. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Right.
fully mixed, nothing
Yeah.
great about it. And he sent that over to us, and Brendan and I were both sitting in the same room. We heard it, and we're like, "That's a completely different song, and we love it.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this."
That's
So,
exciting.
so there is a chance that Solstice might get some vocals to it,
That's
and if it
awesome.
does, we'll probably pull it down. Maybe we'll change the title. I don't know. We might keep the title the same, but either
Yeah.
way, there is a potential for that.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, so you guys, unfortunately, this won't be out in time, but you guys have a show coming up this weekend, right?
Yep. So we got a show on Saturday. That'll be our first show. I'm excited for it. I'm a little nervous for it. Just managing expectations, but we'll be. So Brendan's in Vegas right now, as of this recording on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be popping down on Wednesday. I took the rest of the week off of work. So from Wednesday on, um, just be working on some band management stuff. We got to put together some concept for some music videos in the future. And then we'll be rehearsing for that show. And so, yeah, we'll have a show this Saturday. And then right now booked, we have a show in May, at
Okay.
the end of May here in Utah. We're looking at potentially a second show in April in Vegas. If that doesn't happen, we'll probably be hitting the studio for a couple days in Vegas in
Yeah.
April. So if we
I
don't
should
play a show, we'll be recording songs.
Yeah, I think this will be out by May for
Oh
sure,
yeah,
August.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like we can add a blurb like if you guys have like more details, we can like
Yeah.
totally
We'll do
shout it
that at the
out.
end. We'll shut that out at the end.
Yeah.
That way y'all can get some people. I don't know what part of Utah you live in. I don't know how.
We're
Go ahead.
we're up towards Salt Lake.
Okay.
Well, Brendan's in Salt Lake Valley, so like just that metro area.
Hmm.
I live in the county below, which is not super far, but we're kind of in that Salt Lake area, really.
Yeah. I got some friends. They pretty dope. I met through this podcast and we talk quite frequently. It's I don't know if you ever heard of the band Properties of Nature.
Uh-uh.
No, they live in St. George, Utah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, most of them do. Josh is the
I'll
homie.
message them right now.
They're dope. They're really super nice dudes. But yeah, we had them on, and Josh hits me up quite frequently we basically send music back and forth to listen to. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
He
Yeah.
definitely looks out for us.
yeah, he's been
I
helping
just
us out a lot.
I just messaged them and said that you guys say that we should be friends.
Yeah, they're
I,
from
Absolutely.
St.
did that on
George.
I did that on the band Instagram, so there you go.
Shout out. They have they have their podcast. Maybe you can be a guest on.
Yeah, they have the podcast. You could
Ooh.
probably be a guest, and then they got a new song coming out on I think it's actually the 10th of March. It's called Cock Blocked.
It sounds like a great song.
Yeah.
Dude, so that actually reminds me of a Reno band that I listened to. Dude, they were legends. I never met these guys because I was too young probably to go to shows that they were playing. They were called Levitts. And dude, their music, I don't know if they're even on Spotify. Let me see. Like they are. They are on Spotify.
How do you spell it?
Okay. Levitz, Livitz. Let's throw this song on the freaking playlist right here. Let's do Sasquatch.
All right. That's a Reno band?
They are a Reno classic, man. They're like a ska band, and
Okay.
their show is great. Like they have a whole song about like going to Mustang Ranch, which I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, but like
I have
they wrote a
not.
lot about like Reno life kind of stuff.
I got you. Okay. Let's get some of your favorite current bands on here, man.
Okay, some of my favorite current, Silverstein's always one. Um, I just went and saw Bayside.
Okay.
I love Bayside.
Yeah.
My favorite song by them is Pigsty. Throw that in there. Let's do some Census Fail. I
Yeah.
usually catch them every time they come around. Oh man, which one do I want to do?
Yeah, they got some bangers, man. I love them.
Let's do Can't Be Saved. Like some days I hear that song and it's just like just that chorus just
Hmm.
hits so good with like when I'm having a real shit day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's not even my favorite song by them. Rums for Drinking Off for Burning is my favorite song by them, which is a melody, but Can't Be Saved.
We'll put both of them
That,
on there.
there you go. I've been very much into Dayseeker lately.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Dayseeker. They're really
Let,
dope.
let's do Without Me by them. I don't think that, I don't know, maybe right now it's their number one song, but like, I don't feel like that's, and maybe throw The Color Black. That's my favorite song by them for sure.
All
Do
right.
that one instead of Without Me or both,
I will do
whatever
both.
you want to do. This is
Uh,
America.
I know you mentioned before the podcast started that you've been listening to a lot of Make Them Suffer.
Oh my God. Yes, I have. Let's not get into that. That's an addiction, dude. Okay. Let's do pretty sure it's called Bones. Let me pull it up. Yeah, Bones.
All right.
Which like I heard that song and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go learn that song. And it's not as complicated. It's technical, but not super complicated on the bass. But
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's got a pretty good hard driving bass in it.
Hell yeah. Is there any, special mentions or anything like that you want to throw in here before we wrap
Um,
it up?
Before we wrap it up, yeah, let's do some other root bass songs. Let's go to System of a Down.
Let's
Yeah.
That
go.
was a big bass band.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Um, so the first bass lines that I ever taught myself was Californication, Chop Suey, and Toxicity.
Oh yeah.
I was like, if I can play Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I learned a few other ones of theirs, and then if I can play System of a Down, I can play anything,
Yeah.
which has proven mostly true until I ran across Anti-Flag.
Mhm.
And I was like, this dude's nuts. Yeah, another honorable mention that's got great bass in it. Let's do Rise Against.
Oh, I used to be obsessed with them.
Oh yeah, dude.
So here's a sad thing, dude. So when the band before this one broke up, we were in negotiations on a deal with the label. And part of it was we were going to go tour with Rise Against, open for
Damn.
them. So
Oh,
that
what?
for like 4 different spots so that they can see how we fit. And so, yeah, it was kind of
That
like I
sucks,
have a
dude.
hart time listening to Rise Against every once in a while because of that, but now I'm moving
Yeah, it
on.
reminds you. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
past.
It wasn't their fault, That's your bandmates.
Oh yeah, it was just like
But it's like it reminds, like a
I
trigger,
get you.
dude.
I
It just
get you.
reminds them. Yeah.
it was like Appeal to Reason. That was the album that they were touring, which
Yeah.
was like I feel like one of their biggest albums.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks.
Let's do from that one. Let's do from Heads Unworthy from Rise Against. And then I got one to throw everybody off.
Let's do it.
All right, The Cure, bud. That's another underrated bassist right there. Yeah, we'll do Love Song. Why not? That's a
It's a
little
classic.
classic from them. But Love Song is all bass.
Yeah.
Go
It's a good
listen
song.
to it and tell me what the guitar sounds like. You're gonna be telling me what the bass sounds like. That was a like 14, 15-year-old Homer learning that song because I thought girls would dig it, but that was not the case because no one knew who the heck the Cure was. Like, this is a love song. Have you not heard it? No. Oh, okay.
That's about how old I was when I heard that song first. So I don't know if we maybe messed it up or not, but the last thing you listened to on Spotify?
The last thing I listened to?
Not including the ones that you just played.
It's, when I look at Spotify, it says August Burns Red and Backfire.
Is that the last one?
That's what it says right now. That's what I was 2 minutes and 51 seconds into.
Do you like that song?
It's a good song.
All right, we'll throw that on there then. Adam, you want to do the two songs from, well, I guess you only have 3 songs out right now.
Yeah, so
we'll just throw we'll throw your 2 new ones on. So we'll throw Living Insanity, I'll throw that one on first, and then we'll close it out with Just Face It.
Perfect.
Does that sound good?
Great choices.
All right. Yeah, because Living Insanity will be out before.
Yeah, for sure. Can I do one more song?
Yeah, man.
sure.
All right. Now, this is the one that really inspired me to play bass, was Story of the Year.
Nice.
Then let's do Anthem of Our Dying Day.
That's a good one.
Way throwback to Page Avenue. But yeah, dude, that was the song. So the very first show I went to was Story of the Year. And this was around the same time that my buddy got a bass guitar. But I remember walking through the crowd. This was at New Oasis in Reno, which is now closed down. But they were playing, and I just remember feeling the bass smacking me in the chest because I was that right height. You know what I mean? There's like this perfect height where like no matter what, the subwoofer's hitting you in the chest. And I was like, yep, I want to do that to people. That was what made me want to play the bass guitar. It was Story of the Year, bud.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Adam, you want to make sure you get the show date, the one in May and all that, but go ahead and do the closing stuff.
Yeah. So shout out your social media handles, like any stuff you got going on. I know the show this weekend, this episode won't be out probably in time, but we'll for sure want to get the details for your show in May so we can shout that out too.
Yeah, so our social medias, we're on Instagram and TikTok pretty hard. Just go ahead and look up Image Intent on Instagram or TikTok. We'll give us follows there. And then May 26th, we have a show booked here in Utah at the Boardwalk. We're still setting up the rest of the lineup, but that's going to be a really good show to go to. We definitely want to be one of those bands that you remember our show for. So it's worth showing up for.
Yeah,
right on, man.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us and giving us some details about the new song. It is called Living Insanity. It'll be out March 9th.
Yep.
All right. And do y'all have a working day yet for the one after that or no?
Yeah. Well, right now, April 20th will likely be that date.
Okay.
Yep.
So sometime in April, they'll be releasing another single. And definitely a band to follow. They're fucking sick. They released 2 bangers. By the time this comes out, it'll be 3.
Yep. Go check them out.
I've heard Living Insanity, and it's fucking phenomenal. I love it. But yeah, go check out Image Intent, and thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thanks.
You guys are awesome. I freaking loved it, man. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it, man.
Wonderful.
You have a nice night.
Good luck this weekend.
For sure.
Thanks.
Kill it, man.
Have a good one, guys.
Later.
You too.